YouTube, it's Matt with Olympus Reptiles, and today we're back visiting my friend Redneck Reptiles and Redneck Jeff, the breeder with no soul, because he's a ginger. Anyway, and his dog's a ginger. We're back here because if you remember in the past, we did a video here. We set up these two rat racks for you, correct?
Yes, these two.
So we built these two. Well, we didn't build them. They were already here. We just set them up. Kurt helped set them up. Kurt showed him how we breed rats, how we do things. And I really can't take any credit because when it comes to rats, it's all Kurt. But since then, what I want to know is how has it gone?
It started off kind of rough. Had a lot of temperature fluctuations in here. A lot of rats died. Got a few more breeders back in here and got going. And I've been overproducing for what I need.
Okay. I noticed there's a heater over here, so that'll help get the temperature fluctuations taken care of. So you found the problem, fixed the problem, got it right. So now you said you've been producing pretty well, and we counted before the video started. We have 13 breeding females is what you're running in here, right? It's not even really running this rack at capacity. You could run a 3-pairing group or basically 2 females, 1 male in here. So I say a pair of 3, I'm talking an entire group of 3, not 3 females.
So if I ran two females in each tub, I'd have 20 females and 10 males, which I would be way overproducing. Right,
so you've dialed it down to not overproduce as much. That makes a lot of sense. And then over here, you've set up another rack, correct?
Yep. This is my grow tub, so as soon as I get my weans with the moms, I will pull them over here, let them grow up a little bit, and then I use those for my feeders for my snakes.
And obviously you've got 3 more empty racks over here, so there's definitely room for expansion.
Yep.
Now, the reason I asked about the numbers is we often get asked, how many rats do I need to fit a collection of X? And I'm like, I don't know, because it's hard for me and Kurt to answer because we were actually supplying probably most of Northeast Kansas. You know, like a big chunk of the state is ours and buys rodents through us. So it's really hard for me to say 5 rats will do X. But now we can go look at your collection.
If it gives you any idea on the production, I have 23 snakes currently, and I am producing enough feeders to be able to feed my collection ×2, most likely, if not a little bit more.
Okay, so this could run a snake, about 40 snakes is what you're telling me.
40 to 50.
Okay, so if you've got, and we had, you know, basically it's almost a 1 female does 2 snakes. That'd be about right.
Yep.
Okay. And that's if you're producing good. Obviously, they'll need to be switched out when the production slows and whatnot. But why don't we go upstairs now and take a look at your collection? So now we're upstairs in Jeff's house, and you just missed me being an idiot. We had to make a cut. But here we are, and this is really kind of a trip down memory lane for me. Because if you guys will go back in the Wayback Machine and pull up some very, 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 very early Olympus Reptiles videos, you will see this monstrosity of a rack. So this was
old turd.
Old turd. This was my first ever rack. Let me tell you about. I got to tell you about this rack because this is a love-hate relationship with this thing. So I bought it. I went to a reptile show here locally, and I walked all around. I kept saying, "I'm looking for a rack. I'm looking for a rack." And finally, a guy goes, "I got a rack. I'll sell you." And he shot me some stupid cheap price. And I'm like, "Score!" But we had to come get it out of his basement. And this thing was in there. We had to tear it all apart and haul it into my house. And every time you take it apart, it never goes back quite as well together. And it had already been on like its 3rd house, and you can see all the little marks in it. And then I had to move it again, and it was so wobbly, I had to anchor it to the wall on my other house. And so when we did all of our reptile room upgrade and this piece of shit went away, Jeff was needing a rack. And I was like, you know what? You helped me move that day, and then you haul the bitch away, and it's yours. So Jeff took it, and this rack is still producing eggs, right? You got a full incubator.
Yeah, I have 2 clutches in the incubator, and I've already hatched 1 this year. I have another clutch coming.
So this rack still produces. It's now having to use basically, you know,
leveling wedges.
Leveling wedges, yeah, to keep things in place. That's such a piece of shit. But it works. It works great. It's been good. Everybody's had it. I think you had to replace the heat cable as well, right?
Yeah, I put new heat cable in it.
Yeah, so did I when I first moved it. So like it's kind of an amazing rack. But anyway, I'm less concerned with the rack, and I'm more concerned.
It is an old turd, but I'm not going to complain about it.
I am concerned with what's in it. So why don't we take and this is the collection you were talking about feeding with all those rats too. So why don't we take a quick tour and you show me a few things. I do know there's at least 2 snakes I'm really interested in showing on camera because they were previous production of ours, to include a pied.
Well, let's start with them then.
Now you guys
Watch
have
out,
seen my little bitty pied that's from 2017 that's really pretty but doesn't grow very well. Jeff was showing me this earlier and said, man, I wish this snake would grow fast. I'm like, you should see its sister. But this is a het pied female, correct?
Yep, from 2017. She is the slowest growing thing ever.
They can be. But really pretty snake. Let's see her brother. Because the thing is with our female pied, our original female pied, we actually got that from Jeff. When life happened, he had to kind of shrink his collection and he was going to be letting it go for way less than he should have. And I said, how about this? You give it to us and we'll either just split the clutch or we will split the clutch and let you have some pics out of it. So he took one visual, one het, and then we split the clutch other than that. So this is a visual male. That thing's pretty.
Yep, and these are from Medusa.
Yep, Medusa, he had actually already named it. But I love, and I may be biased, but I love the pieds we produce, and I love how they age, how light the color is. There's no other genes in these, just straight pied, and we work very, very hard on line breed to get that orangish color through them as opposed to them kind of getting that dark look. So this is how I like my pieds, and we've line bred for that specifically. About stepped on the dog, and she is just a gorgeous, gorgeous snake. Or he. That's a he.
This one's the he.
That's a he. All right, let's toss him back, and then I want to see a few of the ones that you really want to show off in here. That are some of your favorites and why.
My absolute favorite is actually a normal.
Oh, well, let's see a normal. Nothing wrong with normals.
This guy I got when I was in 7th grade, so 11 years old. So he's over 30 now and still going.
Wow, so he is ancient.
Mm-hmm.
And he's still healthy looking.
And he just went on a bit of a hunger strike too.
Yep.
Last Friday was the first feeding I've gotten him to take in like 2 months.
And usually by this age, you're going to really kind of see they're looking kind of ragged, but he's really not. He's looking pretty good. I mean, I don't see anything on him that tells me he's, a geriatric. I mean, he's definitely a geriatric snake at 30.
Yeah, he is.
That is awesome. Now, have you ever used him for any breed projects, or you just let him live his life normally as a snake?
Before life happened, I did a normal to normal clutch I used him for. Had a lot of incubator issues. I ended up killing the entire clutch, so no babies from him.
But he did at least get a chance to,
Yeah.
kick one past the goalie, so to speak.
Yeah, he's not dying a virgin.
It's more we can say for some people I've seen on YouTube. Oh, that's for some of my hater commenters. We can put that in the back. So show me something else. We've seen your big normal, your old snake. This is the emotional attachment snake. I think we all have an emotional attachment snake. Probably not one that's 30 years old, but something that kind of anchored us and got us going. But what I want to see now is show me something like you really like genetically or you have really big plans for in the future. Woo! Angry.
Talkative. My queen bee, she will be breeding for me this year.
And we weighed her, and she's at size, but she wasn't when the year kind of got rolling, so you didn't push her, right?
Correct.
And you're kind of was waiting for 1,500 grams, which she literally is just now hitting.
Yep, 1510, and that's not empty, so
Okay.
she's probably right at 1490.
Now, is she always in this bad of a mood?
Always.
So what all genetics do you have in here, for those that don't know?
So a queen bee is a pastel spider lesser.
Okay. So there's 3 different genes going on. Of course, you got spiders, so you got to be careful picking your pairings.
Obviously has the wobble.
Yeah, but she's also really amped up right now. And even with the wobble, like right there was a good example of it when you touched her on the side. But once she's right, she's fine. And the snake eats for you, it poops for you, it does everything wonderful.
She eats every week without hesitation.
So some of the information about that wobble is one of the things I'm very passionate about. Not because it doesn't exist, but because people don't know what it really is. and they watch a handful of, oh, it's so bad videos, and they think that's the norm when that's actually the exception. This is the norm.
I have a spider that I have not even noticed any wobble in.
Yeah, see, that would be kind of normal when something's out on the spider. You can see it's kind of got his head turned funny. But the minute you put that snake back in here,
she will be completely fine.
Yeah, she'll be completely fine. She'll figure out her up and down. And then, you know, she's not going to roller coaster. She's not going to have any issues. She's going to locomotion just fine. She's not banging into the wall. She's checking the wall like any other snake would, but she's doing good. I mean, it's just, it's such an overblown thing. Oh, I know, I scared you, girly. So where is your Nowobble spider? Since you mentioned that, let's see that. Then I'll not make this a spider video, though that's hard for me. I love spiders. I really do. Somebody's going to say I'm all about the money because I love
guy
spiders.
Is perfect. You can't even really get him to do it.
Now, we normally would not recommend spinning your snakes in circles, but this is just to show you that it's so minor in some that you're not going to really ever notice it unless you really know what you're looking for on it. And like this would be one of those kind of snakes. So this is there a wobble there? Yeah, there is, but it's very, very, very minor. And what you'll kind of see is almost a little bit of the head getting turned sideways, almost like it's looking at you curious. That's where people get the, oh, it's cute thing, even though, you know, people go, wow, ain't cute. But they almost have a curious look, like, you know, all those snakes are not going to look at you like they're curious. It's not in their repertoire, but their head is tilted because that directional sense when the head is up is just a little off. Really cool spider. So anything else in here you want to really show us or that you're going to be using next year?
A bunch of normals.
A bunch of normals. Well, I see champagne. Yeah, I see bumblebee.
Champagne, Enchi, and a Firefly will be breeding this year.
Why don't you pull out the Enchi and the Firefly, because those two things we don't show very often. We do have an Enchi, but for some reason he doesn't get much camera time.
And mine is pretty freaking nice too.
That is a very nice Enchi. I love the colors on that. So when you're looking for Enchi, guys, this is really what you're looking for. I'll be flat honest, this is a nicer version of Enchi than my Enchi is. And you can really see the speckling coming through there. You can see the cross, and you can see, maybe the cross is very banded. And the colors are just nothing like a normal. Some Enchis, you know, there's not a whole lot of difference there. It's a little bit of a pattern. You're not getting as nice and up into it as you are with this. That is a gorgeous example. And she's a chunky girl, right?
She is a big girl.
She's gonna be ready to rock for sure.
She has probably put on about 800 grams in the last 6 months.
Now, how are you getting that weight gain? Are you still just feeding once a week? Or
one rat a week.
So we're not power feeding. She's just catching up, right?
For snake this size, I would do normals, or I do mediums normally. Yeah. She doesn't even take a medium every week. Every once in a while, I'll be a little bit low on mediums, so I'll throw a small in and she'll eat that, and she's still packing it on.
She's just retaining the weight and getting ready for what's coming. That is awesome, beautiful snake. And let's see the Firefly, because Firefly is not something that I have a straight up just Firefly on.
Back under the water.
See, now what Jeff is going to need from us, though, he's going to need some mahogany. He's going to need some GHI, you know. Clown. So talk about this, because I know this is a combination that you've always really liked, correct?
Anything fire.
Yeah.
Fire needs to go to everything.
Jeff loves fire about like I love Exanthic. So tell me what attracted you to this particular snake and what you like about this snake.
Colors. The fire, the flaming, everything about it.
So you're telling me this is like the perfect ball python for you?
Get a little bit brighter, throw some orange dream in it. You
know what else would crank that up?
Oh, yeah.
Yellow belly.
I have a clutch of yellow belly coming.
Nice. Yellow belly would crank that to another notch. That thing is beautiful. Very nice. All right, well, I think that's all we got. Well, you do have some babies. We'll save those over for Patreon. All right, guys. Kurt, you got any questions?
No.
You have anything else you want to add?
Nope.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.